I promise you that if you want something crazy to happen, schedule a live for a certain time, right? You schedule a live for noon and something crazy is going to happen at 11:50 a.m. Okay. So, and that's literally what just happened. So I had almost every intention of being here actually in my office. Like I had everything set up to be in my office so that I can do this live. And here we are, not in my office. I got the dogs in the background. I've got, I'm in my living room again. So that just means that that's where I'm supposed to be. I'm just supposed to be here. So that's my dog. There's Coco. I guess since we're not using her real name, that's Coco over there. And peanut butter, I guess, running around here somewhere. If you've seen my Instagrams, they've taken over my Instagrams. So, here we are. I am not even on the right computer. Okay. So this is going to be spectacular. All right. So if you are joining me, if this is your first time seeing me, you've never met me before, welcome. My name is Asia. I am, Dr. Asia, Dr. Taylor. I started getting called very weird, not really used to it yet. And I am a metaphysician, right? Spiritual guide, shamanic practitioner. And I basically help empaths and creatives, people who are highly sensitive, to navigate the journey by taking their soul wounds, the things that happened maybe in the past, the trash that happened in the past, and turning it into awesomeness, abundance, and all things great and authentic for them, in the present and future going forward. Okay. And I stream these things, on Mondays, and we talk metaphysical, topics on Mondays. So we're calling this Metaphysical Mondays. And I'll also, if you're here and you have a question, I say put your question in the chat. Let me make sure I have opened the chat because sometimes I forget. Okay, there it is. I have opened the chat. So, if you have a question, something that you may want like a little bit of clarity on, especially like maybe like a reading or something, you want to talk something, along those lines, put it in the chat. I'll go through and I will do like little mini readings, I do divine path readings, larger divine path readings, where we kind of go through my ancestors are there, your ancestors are there. It's a good old time. There's like great conversations, I'm feeling it, you're feeling it. I do those virtually. You can find my information if you want to schedule or book that type of appointment. I also do a smaller mini path reading. It's like one question. You get one question. We answer that one question kind of a thing. It takes about 30 minutes. You can schedule that. I also do more one-on-one, in-person, private sound and energy healing sessions. I'm not a healer. Basically, I'm just like a channel for the healing, right? I just help you heal yourself. That's what we're doing here, right? And so that's what I do. Okay. So all of that, you can find me. I think in the description, there's like links. You can also go to any of my socials. I'm Asia Stormborn everywhere. I think you can find links to scheduling me there. Okay. You can also email me. You can, find me, via email, and I'll help you schedule me there. And I feel like that's pretty much how to find me. Okay. Now, that being said, what are we talking about today? except Chiron, right? We are, of course, talking about Chiron today. I had to. I literally had no choice, honestly, because I've been on this path, right? If you've been around, you've seen, if you've checked out any of my videos, I've been doing this now since about February. Crazy, right? 8 months. Insane, right? So I've been doing this now since about February, mostly Mondays, and we started on this path towards. Hold on, let me make sure that I have put my phone, because I don't. It felt like somebody was about to call. That's always also what happens when you schedule a live. People start calling you. Okay, nobody calls you until you schedule a live stream. I promise you, right? But that's what happens for me. Um, but yeah, so I've been doing these like metaphysical, deep dives. Okay. And I've gone through these little stages and phases where I'm like doing a deep dive, encompassing it, embodying it, finding out all I can about it, right? And there's, I did an article in Awakened, uh and it was about Chiron. And of course it was about Chiron. We've been in this very Chironic, is that a word? Chironic? Isn't it Chironic? Don't you think? Energy. I can't help it. I honestly can't help it. A song is gonna come through. It just happens. Okay. But we've been in this Chironesque, Chironic energy for some months now. It started back in, I believe, April, okay, with the eclipse in April. All right. Now Chiron has gone retrograde, right? Retrograde in Gemini. Honestly, I'm not an astrologer. I say this all the time. You're just gonna keep hearing me say it. I'm not an astrologer. I'm an energy person. Okay. I feel energy. I deal with energy. I help people transmute energy. Okay. And right now, the energy, both with Chiron and Jupiter being retrograde, is a lot of deep reflection, deep healing of wounds. I call them soul wounds, things that came up in our past, maybe even a past life, but definitely like childhood, right? Teen years, those things, that shit that we were working with. That is basically now, if you're like me and you're, older, okay, we don't say how old I am. I think I'm like 50, okay, older, all right. You get to this age, we get into, this reflection, this looking back on those parts of us that formed us and created these wounds that maybe we didn't heal. Maybe we just kind of covered them up, and we tried to just like go forward and not look at them, these soul wounds, these real deep wounds, um and maybe you're so now we're at that time, and this retrograde kind of brings us back into like more communication, more being able to voice these concerns, right? So of course I'm going to do a live stream where we go through and talk more Chiron. Okay, so that's what we're doing. We're talking more Chiron. Okay, now all of my stuff was on my other computer. Okay, it was on the other computer that way. Okay, so what's gonna have to happen is you're gonna have to bear with me, because now I am going to go through and find a way to put these things that were on my other computer on here. Okay. I had some incidents that happened right before I was supposed to come on, and it stopped me from being on the computer on the big screen. So you're all kind of scrunched in on my little screen here, which is fine. It's intimate, it's cozy, it's giving cozy, intimate vibes in my living room. We're just going to go with it. This is the most people I will have had in my living room ever. Okay, because it's very small, I have a very small living room. Anyway, so yeah, I'm going to go through and I think that the easiest way to pull up what I really wanted to show you. Ooh, I don't know. I'm gonna have to try this first. We're gonna bring this one up first and hope that this works. Okay, so we have that one, and then the other one was this one. Oh yeah, I think this is the one. Hold on, let me make sure. This one might not have been the one. Hold on, was it? It was a picture, and I wanted to show you guys. Oh, there it is. Yeah, definitely this one. Okay, so it's on here. Ooh, that's not good. Okay, we're gonna have to do this. And we're gonna do this. Look at that. Look, y'all can't stop me. Who gonna stop me? Who gonna check me, boo? Look, I figured this out. Okay, I found a way to share. This is the picture that I really want to share first and foremost. Okay, um, is this picture? All right. So I'm gonna put this one open. I'm gonna open this picture. Okay, and I am going to share. Let me see. Where are we at? Is that this one? No, is that one? I think it's this one. Yeah, we're doing this one. We're gonna do this one. Yo. I just hope this works, guys. If it doesn't work, look, I apologize. This is what always happens. But let's see, not the Chrome tab, this window. Where are we at? Maybe this one? No, not that one. This one? No, this one? No. Oh hell, come on, really? So none of these are the ones, huh? Okay, we're just gonna cancel that out because I feel like this is a good one. We're just gonna open it. How do you open it? I just want to open it, like, you know, like I don't want to preview it. I want to open it. It just won't let me open it. Okay. There's a reason I wanted to share this, and so I'm gonna have to, go with it. But like, where is it? Not the tab. I wonder why. Well, let me see. Will it? No. Oh, you know why? Because because I have like some special things on my. So what is this? What was this link? I'm just gonna find the link. I'm gonna open it with this instead. There's got to be a way. You know what I mean? Like you have to like be able to come up with a way, but I don't know why it's like this to where it won't. I'm gonna put it there. Let's see. No, we don't want to do that. We definitely don't want to do that. Okay, hold on. Okay, guys, I got it. I figured it out. Trust me on this one. This is the time. This is the one. Let's see. I'm gonna just like roll through it. Here? That's insane. No, that was a terrible idea. And let's try this instead. There we go. Look at that. All right. See, like I said, who's gonna check me, boo? Who taught me? I found it. I figured it out. It's not that one. All right. We're gonna close out this one, and we're gonna put this open. And I think we got it. It's there. Haha. Okay, guys. There it is. All right. So what I wanted to share here is what we call the orbit. Okay. So Chiron. All of this was to say Chiron is like a planetoid. Some people call it an asteroid. Some call it a very small planet, dwarf planet even, okay? Very small. But it has like this really irregular orbit. All right, so this is what the orbit of Chiron looks like. And the orbit does this, let me make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay, cool. So the orbit does this crazy like oblong kind of a thing. It's not like a regular orbit. So it has like a range of time. All right, so when we talk about the Chiron return, we're talking about like a period of somewhere between 48 even and like 52 years, because it's kind of going oblong, right? So we're looking at like all these other planets out there: Uranus, Neptune, Jupiter, right? And it's orbiting like those, like it's with those and kind of like this crazy weird orbit, right? So that's what we're looking at astrologically or astronomically. Astrologically, we're looking at Chiron in our birth charts as this asteroid that comes up with a specific symbol. To now try to find that for you, okay? Let me turn this one off. Stop the screen share. All right. So Chiron has like a very specific symbol. It looks like a K on a key. It's very let's see here. Get a picture of it so that you know what we're talking about here. All right. Whew. Okay, so this is the Chironic symbol here. It's like a little K on a key. Okay, I'm gonna pull this one up for you now so you can see what we're talking about here. Okay, there, right there. Okay, these are all what they look like. All right, it's basically gonna look like this. It's a K, and it looks like a K on a key. Honestly, that's what I think of when I think of Chiron. I think of it's like a K. It's a K on a key ring. It looks like a key. Okay, I don't know. I don't know how else to explain it. All right. Um, so what we want to do is find Chiron in your birth chart. Okay. And what I want to do today, like I said, we're going to talk about Chiron. We're going to talk about Chiron's placements in the first 6 houses. Okay. This because I remember when we did this with Pluto, and we were kind of going on for a while. All right, when we did the Pluto dive, I don't know if you were there for that. We did the Pluto dive and it took a couple of hours, right? We were kind of going for a long time. I don't want to do that and just have you thinking we're going to do that today. Okay, we're not doing that today. All right, what we're doing is a split. Okay. I've intentionally planned for a split today. Okay. So we're going to go through the first 6 houses. Okay. And we're going to talk about Chiron's placement in those first 6 houses. And I'll answer questions if you have any. Okay. If you don't have any questions, just, when you're seeing this later after it's done, if you see this on YouTube, once this is all done, put a question in the comments and, likely I'll come back and answer the questions the best that I can. Okay. Like I mentioned, I'm not an astrologer. All right. What I am is somebody who likes to go through and take the dive, go on the path, experience the journey. All right. And what I've learned on this journey with Chiron is that it opens us up if we take that journey. You have to be willing to take the journey, and it's not an easy journey, okay? But if you take the journey, it's going to open you up. It's going to like burst you open almost, okay? Like how we discussed how Pluto was trying to, mess with us and burst us open a little bit. Chiron is also going to be that same way. I'm one of those who enjoys to be, the bursting open process, okay? The transformation process, the total change process. Okay. Chiron is going to be one of those that takes us on that total change transformation process. All right. You have to be open to it. If you're not open to it, stop now, right? Like if you're watching this and you're not open to it, stop now. Okay. But if you are open to it, I'm open to it, we're both open to it, then let's go. Right. Like, might as well, what else do we got going on? Okay, what else do we have going on around here, right? Let's go on a deep dive. Anyway, that's how I see it. So what you're gonna have to do, if for this to make any sense to you, is you're gonna have to find your birth chart. All right. On your birth chart, you can go to like astro.com. You can look up your birth chart. I am going to now, let me see here. I'm going to go and I'll show you how I would do a dive. I would go looking in, let's see, where am I going? Where am I going? Okay, I'm gonna go on this one. All right, and I'm gonna go on this one because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to astro.com. All right, so let me make sure that this is coming up for you. Yes. All right. So this is astro.com. I don't get paid for this. I'm not like a affiliate or anything like that. This is just how when I'm looking for astrological information, if I want to look up somebody's chart or something, I'm on astro.com. Okay, it's free. You don't, have got it. I go through and I get to the free charts. Shoot, where's it? No, not there. No, hold on. Astro shop. Where are the free charts? They move everything around all the time. Free horoscopes. All horoscopes. No, it's charts. Where are the charts at? Yo, the way that you can never find the freaking charts. Okay, let me see. This is, I should have looked earlier. Hold on. Because I don't want to bring y'all my chart. This is, first of all, I'm not going to go and do my chart, right? Because I don't want y'all seeing my chart. But, there we go. Charts. Okay. So it was right there, Asia. It was right there. All right. So we're going to go in here for the free chart. And you know what? I'm going to just do a regular chart selection, and see how this works. If this doesn't work, come back, get your money, get your money back, whatever. All right. I'm not going to do for her. That's weird, right? But you know what? Hers is already up here. I feel bad, but I mean, it's right there. Okay. And it's great. Okay. So this person that I've done the chart for before, where's the, if y'all can see, okay. Her, Chiron is in her second house, which honestly makes a lot of sense. Okay. But if I were going to be looking, this is what I'm looking at right here. Okay. See right there. There's the chart. All right. There's the second house. There's a little key ring. Okay. So for this person, her Chiron is in her second house. It's also in Aquarius, which, okay, I'm here for it. We don't need that right now. We're just going to go with, where is her Chiron. Okay. So that's how you would find your Chiron. Basically, bam, boom, simple. All right. Now, where your Chiron is, okay? Chiron, for this person that we're looking at, this, example person, is in her second house, okay? Now, Chiron is the energy, they call it the wounded healer, okay? Chiron in mythology was this like mentor thing, horse person thing, it got shot by an arrow and it was in so much pain, but instead of like cowering and succumbing to the pain, he basically just went around the world healing people because he had healing powers, and he was like a mythical being, so he had healing powers. Instead of like sitting around and being like, I'm in so much pain, instead of doing that, he kind of just went around and healed other people of their pains. Okay. So if we were going to take that and reflect on that, this Chiron energy is the feeling, it's that wounded healer. It's that thing that you typically are suffering, or she's going to start doing this in the middle of my live stream. This is what she's going to do. Look. She's going to just start barking in her sleep in the middle of my live stream. Of course. But yeah, so this Chiron energy would be like this, the thing that you're struggling with, likely something that you've been struggling with since childhood, likely something that you learned in childhood to bandage, right? You didn't really heal from it. You likely bandaged it, came up with new and exciting ways to just kind of live with it being over there, like it exists. I'm just going to ignore it, and I'm going to, see it in other people. And that's what's important. You see it in other people. You can heal it in other people. You can help other people heal from it, but you're not taking it on yourself. Okay. So that's that Chiron energy. Okay. So we discussed before, we talked about before, and I'm gonna have to like pull up the chart again. Again, it's not on this computer. Okay, I apologize. I'm gonna be apologizing for this whole thing because it's on my other computer, the big one over there, that way. Okay, um, but I'm going to try and pull up a chart, houses in astrology. Let's see if I can find it again. I have one, actually. You know what? I actually have one. It's in my book. You know what? I'm just going to pull the one out of my book because I can. Okay. So where's my book? I have my book here someplace. I'm just going to pull yeah, it's in my divination for non-witches book. I'm just going to go ahead and pull the chart that I created for that book because it doesn't make any sense for me to have to go looking for another other chart when I have one, when I made one. All right. This is my divination for non-witches chart. I'm just going to try to share this one page. Let me see. Present. Let's see what it does. All right. We're going to exit full screen here though, because that's a little weird, right? All right. It's like, that was a little weird. Okay. So now I'm going to put it up in here. Okay. I think it's this one. Yeah. We're going to share it. Okay. So I'm going to present it here. Okay. So come on. There we are. Okay. So here's my little cheat sheet that I created. It's in my book. I say go buy the book if you are, feeling froggy. Buy the book. I put the whole chart in there. Okay. It's called Divination for Non-Witches. This was not supposed to be a plug, but honestly, I created a chart and it makes sense to use it. Like, duh. Okay. So these are the houses in astrology. Talked about this before. Okay. The astrological chart is a wheel. It is divided into 12 houses. Okay. Each house has to do with a specific idea, meaning, archetype, topic. Okay. So we talked about this before in other streams. Okay. I'm not going to really go through that anymore. We did that. Okay. So when we're talking about Chiron, we're talking about that thing which you're possibly struggling with, you've been struggling with, you've had some issues with, and either you heal from them and you grow, or you covered it up and decided you were not going to heal from it, and it's kind of been stuck away in your past, hanging out from your childhood, and it's just like there. All right. Now you've gone through, you went to astro.com, you found where your Chiron was. Okay. I will later, not in this episode, not in this one, because mine comes up later, I will tell you where my Chiron sits. Okay. But for today, we're going to be looking, for example, our example, Chiron was in her second house. Okay. So we have this chart. Okay. So we're starting off first with identity, self, your vibe, your appearance, your first house. You've done your chart, you looked at it, Chiron is in your first house. Congratulations. Okay. Likely you have been struggling with issues of identity, with issues of your appearance, with your self-image, with the bravery that comes with presenting yourself, right? Possibly when you were a child, there was this whole don't do that, don't look like that, don't put your face like that. There were like these little things that maybe others were telling you, and you incorporated them, and you put them into your beliefs and all. You were like, okay, this is I shouldn't look like this. I need to make these changes. The appearance is not right. I don't like it. Okay. And so these are your struggles, the things that you struggled with. Okay. Now, when you're overcoming these challenges, right? Like let's say you've gone through the journey and you're like, I get it. This was my my wound, yeah, I had the soul wound and this was my wound. And now I am coming out of it. Okay. That overcoming of that challenge basically will lead you to like you end up in like a deeper understanding of yourself, right? You self-awareness becomes like your superpower, right? And that's the thing about Chiron is that you get this like superpower from this the from finding and healing and working with whatever your wound was. Okay. And which is, one of the things of soul alchemy, right? When we're talking about, we find those wounds, we find those soul wounds, we work them, we um work through them, right? Because the only way out is through. We work through them, and then we grow from them, and then they become our superpower. Okay, it's just what it is. Sorry, I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to yell. Okay, but yes, that's what happens. They become our superpower, right? So that's what it is. Chiron in your first house, you're likely working through self-identity, self-awareness type issues. Okay, something likely happened in your childhood. You had early struggles with maybe confidence. And it doesn't have to be that it came from you. It can be, like I said, sometimes we have these parents who are like, you stop, go in the corner, don't do it, don't be you, be different, be smaller, and we have to work through those issues. Okay. So that's Chiron first house. Okay. Let's go on. Second house. Second house, Chiron is going to um, basically be talking about our money, our income, our objects, our resources. That's what I put in the chart, right? So what does that look like? Um, it can look like a struggle with finances. It can look like a struggle to be like to carefully attend to your resources. As a child, it can look like you kind of just like have stuff all over the place. Not like a real care for your items. You can just, or like you don't really like, you have talents, you have resources. And I'm going to tell you right now that the person who this second house, like I told you that Chiron was in the second house, like I said, it makes sense. Okay. It's like the struggle with, you can do so much. You have so many talents that you don't know what to do with them. Right. And you decide not to do anything with any of them. All right. It's that kind of a feeling. Okay. But it can also play out in things like, just finances. You have the finances, you have, these resources, but you don't take care of them, you don't hone them, you don't invest them. It's like the story of the guy with the talents, right, in the Bible, right, with the talents, and they just dug them, put them under. This would be the person that put the talents, like dug a hole and put the talents in the hole, right? That's some second house Chiron type shit right there. Okay. There's likely maybe some guilt. So like, as you've gone through life, okay, and you've had these, issues with your talents and your resources and your finances, okay, and you've kind of gone through life with maybe a guilt, like, maybe I shouldn't have so much. Maybe, why do I have so much and others don't have enough? It's these issues that kind of play out where you may cover up, what you have. You start kind of hiding what you have. You're not really honest with what you have, maybe just because you feel like others don't have as much. It can kind of play out like that. Um, but the thing is, you also could also play out in this overwhelming, like, I'm going to create this super safe, comfortable zone that it's not going to look like anybody else's super safe, comfortable zone, right? Like, comfort to you may look totally different than what comfort to other people look like, and you may have like overdone it with what comfort is going to look like for you. Like, you're going to just lay out, just do nothing, couch potato it. Okay. um because you haven't really dealt with the wound, you know what I mean? um So it can look something like that. I'm gonna go with that. Let's see, third house. We're gonna talk um, communication, neighborhood, skills is basically your community and the communication, your network, people who are around you, right? So third house, if Chiron is in your third house, okay, like you've done you looked it up, okay? Chiron is in your third house. Your early wound is likely going to be something around communication. It's going to be something around like learning or sharing, let's say connecting. Maybe you felt so disconnected from the people around you early in life, or maybe you had maybe something where like you couldn't communicate, like a dysphonia, or something where you were unable to communicate, right? um, Maybe something stopped you from communicating. It could be something where like an adult in your life told you children should be seen and not heard, even, it could be something along those lines. And maybe, there could be some type of abuse that goes around that, like you were heard and you should not have been heard. So you were, something happened, negatively, which then impacted your ability to communicate, your ability to learn and share and grow in those connections. It could be something along the lines of, something that happened maybe where you felt scared in your neighborhood, or, in your vicinity. Maybe you were in an unsafe place growing up. It's there. Okay. And like I said, to find it, you would be looking for, something along those lines of communication, neighborhood, network, learning, uh, you know, vocalizing, those things. And you would also be looking at how easy is it for you to see it in other people. Because if you can see it in other people and you've helped other people with theirs, likely that's what it is. It's likely that you became a speech therapist. It's likely that, okay. Likely that's what happened, because these become, um you help others with your communication. You became a social media guru and you're able to push somebody else's communication, somebody else's brand out. You can help somebody, figure out their words, and you throw it out really easy. It's likely that that's where it is, okay. You've taken your wound and turned it into your superpower, right? And maybe you just didn't even know it. You didn't even realize it was happening, but if you're not there yet and you were wondering where your wound is, this is what we're trying to do today, is help you to, find that wound. Okay. So that's third house. Let's see, fourth house, we're talking home, ancestry, heritage, and family, right? So fourth house, and like I said, this chart, it's from my book, Divination for Non-Witches. I'm gonna keep saying that because now that it's up, y'all can see it, but it's in there. Yeah, family, home, ancestry, heritage would be for the fourth house. So what this would look like, Chiron in your fourth house would likely be some type of wound around nurturing, around family, safety, belonging, something along those lines. So possibly, you were in an unsafe home. You may have had like some struggles finding yourself in your home. Oh, she's in on this one. This is her. Obviously, this is her. She's like, this is where I'm at. I just picked her up from the kennel last month. So she's like, this is me, but something along those lines. Maybe you didn't know where you belonged in your family. Maybe you were like one of 15 children, and you were kind of like overlooked, kind of like middle child syndrome. It could be something along those lines. You finding that belonging, that place, maybe, you've kind of bounced around. Your family lived a nomadic lifestyle and you were never able to find a safe secure, place. Also, it could be, when we're talking like ancestry, and heritage, the wound could be something, like I said, with foster or adoption, where you've wanted to know who your heritage, where it belonged, or what your ancestry was, and you just could never figure it out, right? And that overcoming that might look like, you're helping people be placed in safe homes, you're helping homes be safe, CPS worker, that kind of a thing. You're going around doing like home inspections, even type, like it could be anything along that lines, where you took that safety, that insecurity around safety, and you're helping turn it into something awesome for other people. The goal is to make sure that you've worked through it for yourself. Like you may not have even realized that it was something that you needed to work for also as well. I'm just making sure I have not seen. I have Scorpio in my 8th house. Yeah, well, that's cool. We're talking Chiron. Where's your Chiron? Mini, if you're still here. I try to go back and forth. Instagram is on a different, thing. But tell me where Chiron is, and we'll see, because we're going through 6 houses today of Chiron. So we're on 4. Now we're on the 5th house. So let me know, and we can discuss. Chiron is in your 8th house. Oh, friend. Well, look, you're going to have to come back, because we're going through 6 houses today. But I will tell you, if you've been here long enough, Chiron is also in my 8th house. So, we'll definitely be able to discuss that. I think next week, I'm going to do the second half. So I'll do houses 6 through 12 next week. But stay tuned, because it's a thrill. It's fun. 8th house is death and transformation, change. So having Chiron in that house, awesome. Yeah, having Chiron in the 8th house is when we're talking, death and transformation, and that, that feeling. It's like, it's got layers to it. Okay, so 5th house, we are on pleasure, creativity, children, sex, right? So that 5th house, Chiron, specifically tends to center around creativity, and it's likely childhood, and it happens to a lot of us, right? Like our parents are like, stop it, do not express yourself. Like our parents feel embarrassed about us sometimes, right? Like I know I had 3 kids, right? There are some days when I'm just like, I'm soups embarrassed. I was embarrassed just by my dogs this morning, right? And I'm like, soups embarrassed. Okay. They're being creative. They're doing their little barking, howling thing. They expressing themselves, right? And a lot of times with like the 5th house Chiron, it will express itself in wounds around creativity. Okay. Which happens to a lot of us. Like I said, you're in school, we're supposed to just do what they tell us to do. Mini, if you stick around, I'll do a mini reading for you. I'll do a mini reading for mini, if you're still here. But if you stick around. But let me know if you're still here. In about 5 minutes, ask a question, and I'll answer your question, via a reading, a mini reading. Anyway, but yeah, so you're in school, and they're like, hey, do it this way, don't write that way, stay within this box, right? And we're basically kind of like stuck. Creativity is not really something that's treasured, right? When you're like, especially starting off early in school, right? So you probably have like past struggles with creativity, with individuality, with taking pride in yourself. This could look like, religiously, if you were like a part of like a more primitive Baptist, or a lot of the Baptist churches where it was like pride in how you look, and your individuality is kind of like hampered. You're not allowed to. Like, why would you want to stand out? Don't stand out. All right, standing out is bad, right? So it can look like some wounds around that. As far as like children and sex, it can look like wounds, even possibly like with like a loss um, of childhood. Maybe you had to grow up too fast. It can look like some type of an assault that may have happened in your early years, in your formative years, that you've had to work through and process. um, and it can look like just finding that voice that was truly and authentically yours was not allowed. Like, maybe you had to conform to a group think or a family think, or even, like I said, in school, and it really hurt you in some way. Hello, bearded father. And it hurt you in some way. You know what I mean? So it's going to look like that. um so you're basically, you would know what it is specifically if you have like this keen ability to help other people bring out their creativity, right? If you like go into somebody's house and you're like, "Ooh, this should go here and this should go here and this is that," and then they're like, "Oh, I love this, and how about this?" And you're like growing and feeling and vibing from it, likely that's where your your Chiron is laying in your placements, and your what the fifth house is likely where your Chiron is placed. But again, the easiest way is just to go in to astro.com and find it. And like I said, knowing where your Chiron is will help you with being able to heal that wound in such a way. Like, we can heal that wound in such a way that you can go forward and help others. And it creates, like I said, this superpower for you, this superpower feeling. Okay. Last one for today. We're at 47 minutes in. I know some of that was me trying to find the stuff on my windows. I know, but look, I'm not trying to be here for a long time. Okay. I'm here for a good time, not a long time. All right. So sixth house, we're talking possible some struggles with your health. Sixth house is work, lifestyle, service, health. Okay, so like your job and stuff like that, right? So when we're talking about Chiron, we're talking about earlier in your early parts of formative years, growing up, childhood. We're talking about possible struggles with your health, possible struggles with uh, your wellness, and maybe insecurities around being like disorganized or unhealthy. Um, it could even play out with like you were raised in a house where there was like a lot of health issues. Maybe like there was something that ran through like your whole family, and you had like a fear of it. It can play out with having uh let's see, was authority issues, especially because of the work, and the service portion. So like if you had like as a child issues with authority, let's say, and then like you get into adulthood and you have issues with authority, right? Teacher, child, teacher, student, boss, employee, type situations, and you just had like these struggles with authority. Like it just harmed you in some way. Authority issues harmed you in some way, like as a soul wound, basically. And you maybe you covered it up. Or health issues, even a possibility of a health issue, and your maybe your parents were fearful. It could even go the opposite way, where like maybe you were like a victim of like Munchausen, like where your parents kept consistently coming up with health issues. Even it can play out in a bunch of different ways as far as health is concerned. You may be like sensitive to your physical environment. You're sensitive to foods. You're sensitive to smells, because you kind of like placed yourself in this, small bubble of things just to make sure that you were going to stay safe, health wise, right? Let's see. So yeah, that's how it would play out. I would say that if you were to go through, find what it is, that see, you looked up Chiron's in your sixth house. You're like, oh shit, that makes so much sense because of this, right? Now you can go back, see that makes so much sense because issue, um, work through that issue. That's where the shadow work starts coming in. It's because you've done so much, put so many layers on that bad boy, or you hammered it down, you covered it up with some dirt, you put some band-aids, you covered a cloth, you pulled a building on top of it, and that building was basically you as a person. Okay. So I'm going to stop there at the sixth house. All right. There are 12 houses. And like I said, next week I will come back and I will do the other six houses. My house is in the other six houses. Okay. This is not me trying to hide who I am. Don't think it is. It's not me trying to hide who I am. It's just doing all 12 houses like last time. I realized it's just a lot. Okay. And I really want to give it the attention that each house deserves. I don't see any questions. Does anybody have a question? See, I don't see any questions. I get nervous. I also get very nervous because I feel like I'll end up on Facebook. I still don't know why, but I will end up on Facebook and there will be like 5 questions. And then I'm like, how did I miss these 5 questions? I don't know. I don't know how it happens, but it happens. Okay. And I'm always just going to have to apologize because I haven't figured it out yet. Like I'm still working the tech myself. Okay. 8 months in, but I'm still working, with the new tech. So I apologize for that. If you've gotten this far, or maybe like you just joined the live, I'm going to end up putting this on YouTube. So all of my lives go on YouTube. Okay. And then you can go back and look at it. I'll even try to like link it to the what I ended up doing an article in Awakened magazine on Chiron, on the Chiron return. So this is on your Chiron placements. And right now Chiron is in Gemini, in retrograde. Okay. So it's kind of doing this weird energy as far as just like a focused beam of light on our soul wounds, especially those that deal with communication, like I said, deal with, well, for me, it's stuff that deals with communication because Gemini is in my 6th house. Okay. Long story short, Gemini for me is, it's in the house of, what was it? Gemini is in my communication house. I think it is, for me or something like that. Anyway, but long story short, just know, find your Chiron. Okay. Sometime in about the 50-year mark, 49, 50, 51, you end up going through this Chiron return, right? Some people call it like a midlife crisis. Okay. This is all kind of when it starts to like beam in on you, right? And that's where I am right now, right? Which is why I had to do this. I told you guys at the beginning, I had to do this. I kind of had no choice. It was going to have to happen, right? So here it is. All right. And also I apologize. I had to do this in my living room again, but that's what happened. Okay. So onward. What am I reading? You're going to love this. Okay. What am I reading? Let me make sure. Okay. I'm still trying to make sure I don't have any questions. Like, I feel like for me, the wound is missing the questions so that I can't give the answers. Right now I'm almost done with Owning Your Own Shadow. Okay. This was Robert Johnson, I believe. Yeah. Robert A. Johnson, Owning Your Own Shadow. I plan on doing a whole thing on just, what I learned in here. That one was good. And I ended up getting this book, which I It's an energy healing book, all right? It's Monique Wagner, right? But it's like one, two, three, four, 5 books in one. I felt like I couldn't possibly consider myself a healer if I'm not like, finding out what other people are saying. I try to like keep, abreast of things. So between this and this other book, I ordered it because it was on my Instagram, like a 369 book, I think it's called. Anyway, that's the other book I'm reading. But yeah, I mean, it basically it goes over astrology, Reiki, crystals, chakra, and numerology, which I mean, that's cool. By the way, I have most of those in my Creatrix Academy. I have courses on most of those. Not Reiki. I don't really do Reiki anymore, but I have courses on a lot of the other stuff in the Creatrix Academy. All right, just checking. I'm checking again one more time. Check over here one more time. Still no questions. I see 0 questions. So that means that we're going to do a reading just off of the empathic energy that I'm feeling right now. And I love that because we're at 56 minutes and I'm really not trying to be here for, a long, long time. And if somebody had asked a question, then because I can't help it. I have to go in. I have to add, we got to talk about it, and that's what I do. You want like a reading of your own, you just come and find me. Like I said, you can book me on my website. My calendar's right there. You book a divine path reading or a mini path reading. You want to talk through some intuitive healing. We can talk through intuitive healing. You just want to, talk to me for 15 minutes about where you are on your path. You can talk to me for about 15 minutes about where you are on your path. It's all right there. Just, find me. It's all on there. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Okay. So, right now we're going to do mini reading on just the energy for this week. Let's go with that. And like I mentioned, Chiron is in retrograde in Gemini. Jupiter is in retrograde. Oh, is Jupiter in retrograde in Gemini? Oh, hell. I can't even remember. I'm not an astrologer. I know Jupiter's in retrograde. Maybe Jupiter was in retrograde in Gemini. You know what? I honestly, I can't remember now at this point. Yeah, no, can't remember. Don't take anything I just said. Don't take anything I just said. Okay. Card, message for today. As we're going through and figuring out where our soul wounds really exist and how we can take those wounds and turn them into our superpowers. Yeah, kind of makes sense. Inner child. All right. So that was the card, was inner child. And it does make sense because as we're sitting here and we're talking about Chiron, we're talking about the wounds that started in our childhood, in our early years, in our formative years, even our teenage years. But it's typically something that started early in life. All right. So play, laugh, be silly, heal child wounds. It says it right there. Look, guys, it says it right there. Heal child wounds. Okay. The card just came out. It was the card that came out. I can't do anything about it. You want to keep on going with this healing of our child wounds, then come back next week. Find my other videos. They're all pretty much on the YouTubes. We want to have more discussions on this. We can definitely have more discussions on this. Send me an email with your questions or comment or whatever, DM me, and we'll talk more about this. Okay. Until next time, I am wishing you nothing but love and peace and many continued blessings. I got us done in an hour, even though I was late and halfway unprepared. I feel good about this. I hope you guys feel good about this. And if there's something else like you would rather have heard talked about, go find it. I'm pretty sure I've already talked about it. I've talked about a gajillion things over the last 8 months. Just go back and find it. Anyway, until next time, I am Dr. Asia, the soulful creatrix, and I will see